Welcome back to HirePresence. My guest today is Laura Merlando, the Stress Commando, the Jedi Master Connector that she is. I always laugh about that because she really is too. She really knows how to, the right people, and a tremendous influence. And I know that one of the things that she's done is she has created a massive influence to create affluence for herself. And since we're talking about job seekers becoming job finders, we want to continue this path of how she began to grow her business, because it's the same thing we're doing in jobs. In job seeking, it's just like growing a business. So you began to feed yourself the right mental medicine.
Absolutely.
It began to generate the right activity, which is get off your tail, so
Yes.
to speak, and out.
Get out.
Then what?
Well, that just kind of creates an energy around you. And usually people say, I'll get motivated to go out and do things. And I have since learned that motivation is a byproduct of action. And I believe John Maxwell even says that in his book. So you have to just get active. So if you just heard yourself in your head say, yeah, but, do it anyway. Fake it. Get dressed. Stand tall. Smile. Put your best face forward and just go. And be as positive as you can. Keep the desperation out. Keep all of the things that are really stressing you out, just silence them and just say, I am looking for my next big success.
How did you do that? Because before we go to the next point, I know in your mind, there's a lot of people that just don't even know how to silence that beast of fear. How did you do it?
I did it anyway. Here's my guarantee. Here's the Stress Commando guarantee. You will sweat profusely. You might shake a lot, but you will not die. So just go do it. I mean, the whole time I'm very nervous and sweating profusely and oh my gosh, I just want to go home and crawl in my corner and die. I knew it was the right activity. I just did it anyway. And by doing it, you create that energy. And I realize you hear that over and over, but if you watch anyone who's ever lost a lot of weight or achieved a goal, they all say the same thing. And yet, as I heard them, I say, yeah, but how do you get started? Well, they're telling you, just start. It's simple, but it's not easy to do.
There's a lot of things in life that are simple. They're just not easy.
They're not
You
easy.
just do it.
You just do it.
Once you began to get the momentum, what kind of targets did you run after? How did you set your targets, maybe?
Well, when I was looking for a job, I was very narrow-minded. In my head, a career was within the same industry doing the same thing. I now realize your career is the sum of all of your professional experience. So maybe out of desperation, I started expanding my horizons, and I realized I've been given a gift. I have the opportunity to be and work and do whatever I want. So what are my hobbies? What are my passions? What place would I love to say I work for, irrespective of whether I had the skills to be there? And I just started applying. Well, that job search really expanded things. And lo and behold, then being a wine consultant became an option. Being business development became an option. Being a manager for the city of tourism. All of these different things became available that would not have been in my search criteria had I stuck to my little narrow mind. So that just kind of leads to it. And then once you go and interview, I always asked, when they said, we're going to call you, I said, great. And if they called me back to tell me, I'm sorry, but you're not a fit, that call, I said, I really appreciate that. In your expert opinion, where do you think I'd be a better fit for?
Great conversation. Because they see the assets that you're not highlighting potentially in your conversation. It's amazing. What's the old saying? I know more about you in the first few minutes than your acquaintances in 1,000 years. You really do. You can read people so fast if you're around people a lot. And a lot of HR people see, what, 10, 20, 30 people a day or better? Oh my gosh.
Sometimes more.
Yeah. So once you began to hear that, what was your next step?
Listen to their advice and do something about it. So I even had someone tell me, you would be excellent as a physician recruiter. I heard, yeah, but, and yet I started looking for that. So I can see things in other people, but we're always real critical of ourselves, and we don't always see our most positive sides, our attributes. So I'm going to listen to what they say. They're the expert, and I'm going to run with it and see what happens.
So what happened?
I actually did work for a physician recruiter for a while, so I did do that. And I just kept following my path until I got to where I am today.
The beauty of what I'm hearing is it always goes back to that core competency. that a lot of times you think that your core competency is, sales or whatever. But a lot of times it isn't just sales. There's so much more in that pile, in that puzzle of you. You began to see, what are my core competencies? How can I begin to monetize those?
Absolutely.
And you listen to the advisors around you.
Absolutely.
What would be one more step that you would encourage people to do once they've begun to move down that path?
Don't over-network and overcommit yourself. Pick a couple of good organizations and really jump into them and actually become an officer within those organizations. So for example, what happened to me with the American Businesswomen's Association, or ABWA, the minute that I joined, I was an officer. And back then, your resume on Monster, mine actually doubled twice. Once when I put I was an ABWA member, and then again when I put that I was the officer and a president. So it gave me this credibility and this affiliation. What I didn't expect was the expertise, the skills in interviewing. Right now there's a whole bunch of online tutorials. If you're looking for work, there's an entire job interviewing suite. Cover letter, no cover letter, how to do interviews, you name it, all built in to gain your confidence, to gain your skill level. So I would say get into that organization, add that credibility to your resume, and help yourself differentiate as you're out and about.
That is awesome. One of the things that she's told you is begin to take action. When we come back from the break, we're going to hear more from Laura Merlando on how to get hired. This is HirePresence. We'll be right back.
The Weight Loss Surgery Channel is the world's first online television network devoted exclusively to the weight loss surgery community. Find the information, support, and guidance that can keep you on the road to success. The Weight Loss Surgery Channel, here for you on the web 24 hours a day, every day. Visit us at weightlosssurgerychannel.com.